Sean Lennon here with Pro Wrestling Enforcer. We are live at Bendrix Arena here in South Bend, Indiana for Warrior Wrestling 18, and excited to be here. As surely as he is excited to be here is Filthy Tom Lawlor.
That's right. Straight off the plane. Can you, one more time, what is the name of this place?
Bendrix Arena.
Bendrix Arena. Okay. Like I said, straight off the plane. I'm coming here. I'm going to bend up Anthony Henry.
Hi, Joey, 20 years. This is the line, man.
Tonight, maybe I'm going to break him in half. We'll see. He's got a few hours to live.
Definitely. Filthy Tom, we did let to see you in action at Professional Fighters League. Talk about that nice run you had. I mean, obviously didn't go the way you wanted it to go. And will we see you back in that cage? Because I know, obviously you said that this would be it, but there's always that opportunity that can arise that will get you back in, right?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I didn't come away with $1 million. Otherwise, I'd be handing out some dough. I'd be throwing it in the crowd when I walk out. The PFL lost the first fight against Antonio Carlos Jr., was able to come back and win the second fight against Jordan Young. And going into that fight, I woke up that morning, I knew in my head that was probably, in my mind, that was it. I was going to put everything I had into that fight. Now, everybody, I laid my gloves down in the cage. I never made an announcement that I was retired. I never said that I was done for sure. The problem is, everybody that I've ever seen that retired from fighting came out of retirement and fought again. So I'm just not looking for a fight. You know what I mean? I don't plan on fighting again, but hey, if the opportunity arises, I would love, my bucket list, one of my bucket list things, not only is to wrestle in Japan, but I would gladly fight in Japan, so you never say never, but I don't think it's in the cards for now.
Definitely. But I know you still train over there.
I still do jiu-jitsu. I haven't done so much striking. I don't get hit in the face that much anymore. I'm trying to, get prettier at my old age. I was starting to look like the Geico caveman for a bit there. So I had to kind of lay off the strikes, So just grappling for me for now.
Yep.
Gonna save my brain.
Definitely, and Syndicate MMA, and you guys have a lot of young talent coming up,
Yeah. There's a lot of guys, a lot of young fighters. Jordan Levitt, one of the great submission fighters, just had a good submission on the UFC. There's tons of young guys and, older guys. There's tons of phenomenal female fighters from the gym. You can look pretty much every UFC card. There's going to be somebody from Syndicate MMA on there. So whether they're, fighting for title contention or whether they're moving their way up the card, there's tons of talent in that gym. And it's as I get older and I look at the guys coming up, it's just like wrestling. You can't compare the two. The fighters now that are coming up are so much better. They're so much more skilled. They're better athletes, and it's really cool to watch the fighters progress, as time goes on.
Yes, definitely. And then of course, let's go back to wrestling, and you captured the new Japan Strong Openweight Championship.
Yeah.
So talk about that and kind of building up that stable of young talent. How do you guys complement one each other? Team Filthy over there.
Has it been that long? I haven't seen you since then. I haven't seen you since I won that belt.
No, but we haven't done an interview since.
Yeah, well, fuck. All right, so the stuff with New Japan Strong has been going awesome. Some of my favorite stuff I've ever done in the pro wrestling ring. I feel like I've really hit my stride over the past year. It's a company where a lot of places present wrestling in different ways, but in Japan it really is rooted in the sport, and being from an MMA background, I think it's a perfect fit. Luckily, I've been able to match up and team up with some guys, JR Kratos, Danny Limelight, the West Coast Wrecking Crew, and there's a ton of talent, and it's a little bit different than here in the Midwest. You kind of get different flavors everywhere you go, and there's definitely a different a West Coast flavor, to Team Filthy out there. Everybody is from California or Vegas, so it's pretty cool to have different groups everywhere that I go,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got MLW, you got Guarini, and you got Kevin Koo.
So Team Filthy is everywhere, all-encompassing. You know, there's a lot of indie promotions like Paradigm Pro, myself and Matt Makowski and Dom Guarini were doing work as a trio. So there's always places that we're popping up, adding new guys. There's, you know, as MMA got more popular, as UFC got more popular, fans started realizing and recognizing like the legitimate techniques, and now you see tons of guys creating, you know, new maneuvers into submissions, doing things that we never thought were possible, and mixing pro wrestling and MMA, and it's awesome.
Definitely. And talk also about Black Label Pro. You know, you had a nice big show here. It was Ground Control of Filthy Tom.
Yeah.
Now Black Label Pro returns. I think you're on the card.
Yep. Next month I'll be back here in Indiana after I beat up Anthony Henry tonight here for Warrior Wrestling. I'm going to actually face Matt Makowski, who I was just talking about, next month for Black Label Pro. So always a big fan of coming to the Midwest. I've actually wrestled in this arena before. I wrestled Chuck Taylor a few years back, but it's always good to be back here. It's good to be, you know, in Crown Point. It's good to be in Chicago. Anywhere where I'm going to get paid and people are going to cheer me. Of course, that's where I want to be. You know.
No issues, no problems. But also, you know, I was going to ask you about. You know, what it takes to compete as a professional wrestler at this level. I mean, obviously it's a lot of time, a lot of dedication, you know, time away from family. And talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like when I was fighting, you know, I'm still in the gym, like you mentioned earlier. I'm doing 2-a-days. I've got a home gym, so I'm lifting weights for an hour a day, or throwing kettlebells around for an hour a day, grappling dudes for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. You know, sometimes. And then, you know, you mentioned the time away from family, which is really like the worst part. I'd show up here and wrestle at Warrior Wrestling for free. Right. You're going to pay me to travel here is the issue, you know what I mean? So it's been a long day. I left home at 3, I think I left my house, 3 a.m. to get to the airport for about 3:30. Left at 5 a.m., spent 4 hours in Dallas, and now I'm here ready to go.
Well, Filthy Tom Lawlor, appreciate you being on Pro Wrestling Enforcer, giving us a bit of Fight League Report knowledge as well.
My focus is right here, Warrior Wrestling, Anthony Henry.